Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we journey back in time, over 2.5 millennia, to uncover the origins of one of the world's most profound spiritual traditions, Buddhism. Our story begins not with a deity, but with a man, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama, born around the 5th century BCE in Lumbini, in what is now modern-day Nepal. Siddhartha lived a life of unimaginable luxury, shielded from the harsh realities of the world by his father, King Suddhodana. The king, having been told a prophecy that his son would become either a great ruler or a great spiritual leader, did everything in his power to ensure the former. The young prince was surrounded by beauty, pleasure, and comfort, completely unaware of suffering, sickness, or death. But destiny, it seems, had other plans. As a young man, Siddhartha grew curious about the world beyond his palace walls. He ventured out on 4 separate occasions, and what he saw changed the course of his life, and indeed the course of history. These are famously known as the 4 sights. On his first trip, he saw an old man, frail and bent with age. On his second, he saw a sick person, writhing in pain. On his third, he witnessed a funeral procession, and for the first time, he understood the reality of death. These sights deeply troubled him. The luxury he had known his whole life now seemed hollow and meaningless in the face of such universal suffering. But it was the 4th sight that gave him hope. He saw a wandering ascetic, a holy man who had renounced all worldly possessions. Despite having nothing, the man's face radiated a profound sense of peace and serenity. Siddhartha realized that the path to true happiness was not in accumulating more, but in understanding the nature of existence itself. At the age of 29, he made a monumental decision. He left his wife, his newborn son, and his kingdom behind. He traded his royal robes for a simple cloth, cut his hair, and began his quest for enlightenment. This event is known as the Great Renunciation. For the next 6 years, Siddhartha wandered the Gangetic plains of India, studying with the most renowned spiritual teachers of his time. He mastered meditation and practiced extreme forms of self-denial, fasting until he was nothing but skin and bone. He believed that by punishing the body, he could liberate the spirit. Yet, despite his incredible discipline, true understanding eluded him. He realized that neither a life of extreme luxury nor a life of extreme self-torture held the answer. The truth, he concluded, must lie somewhere in between. He called this new path the middle way. He began to eat again, regaining his strength. One fateful day, he sat beneath a Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, vowing not to rise until he had found the answers he sought. He meditated deeply, confronting the temptations and fears of his own mind, which later traditions personified as the demon Mara. Through the night, he delved deeper and deeper into the nature of reality, and as the morning star rose in the sky, enlightenment dawned. Siddhartha Gautama had become the Buddha, which means the awakened one. He had awakened to the true nature of reality. He understood the cause of suffering and the path to its cessation. This profound insight is encapsulated in the 4 noble truths. The first, that life is inherently characterized by suffering, or dukkha. The second, that suffering arises from craving, attachment, and aversion. The third, that suffering can be ended. And the fourth, that the way to end suffering is by following the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is a practical guide to ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. It includes right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. It is the heart of Buddhist practice, a balanced and holistic approach to living a meaningful life. After his enlightenment, the Buddha spent the next 45 years traveling and teaching. He didn't claim to be a god. He presented himself as a guide, a physician for the soul who had found a cure for the universal ailment of suffering. His first sermon, delivered in a deer park at Sarnath, set in motion the wheel of Dharma. His teachings, or Dharma, attracted a growing community of followers, both monks and lay people, known as the Sangha. The Buddha's message was revolutionary for its time. He rejected the rigid caste system of ancient India, teaching that a person's worth was determined not by birth, but by their actions and character. He taught with compassion and clarity, using simple parables and analogies that everyone could understand. His teachings emphasized kindness, nonviolence, and personal responsibility. As Buddhism spread throughout India, it was greatly supported by rulers like Emperor Ashoka in the 3rd century BCE. After a bloody conquest, Ashoka converted to Buddhism and dedicated his reign to spreading its message of peace. He sent missionaries across Asia, from Sri Lanka to the Middle East, carrying the Buddha's teachings far and wide. This marked the beginning of Buddhism's transformation into a world religion. Over the centuries, Buddhism branched into different schools of thought, each adapting the core teachings to new cultures. The main traditions that emerged are Theravada, often called the Way of the Elders, which is prevalent in Southeast Asia; Mahayana, the Great Vehicle, which spread across East Asia, including China, Japan, and Korea; and Vajrayana, the Diamond Vehicle, which is most famously associated with Tibet. Though they have different practices and interpretations, all schools share the foundational teachings of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and the goal of achieving enlightenment, or nirvana. They all look to the example of a man who, through his own efforts, woke up and showed others the way to do the same. From the quiet reflections of a single man under a tree, Buddhism has grown to touch the lives of over 500 million people today. Its timeless wisdom on compassion, mindfulness, and the nature of the mind continues to resonate across cultures and generations, offering a path to peace in our often chaotic world. The story of the Buddha is a powerful reminder that within each of us lies the potential for profound wisdom and transformation. Thank you so much for joining us on this historical journey. If you found this story inspiring, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more explorations into history and spirituality. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.